irresistible. What is irresistible about the world that you want to create, that you want to live in? What are some of the things that looks like, or what are the ideas that you're playing with?
Right. I think that us as trans folks are living that world right now, and I understand the harassment and violence that we experience as a response to that. Yes, of course it's about gender, but it's also because we are living artfully in a world that requires a kind of conformity, and when people see us, they're confronted because they're like, I've lost my relationship with my creativity, and you had the ability to do the thing that I couldn't do, which was emancipate yourself and say, this is who I am. And I think trans and GNC folks, we know who we are, and a lot of other people in this world don't know. They know what they've been told that they should be.
Correct.
But we had the audacity to say, I know who I am. And so I kind of, what I'm speaking about is, it's not that it's the world I want, it's the world that I'm living right now. And it's a world that so many of us are living right now, and we're being persecuted because of it. Because to live in the kind of world I'm living is one of constant fluidity, meaning tomorrow I could be wearing what society perceives as, quote, men's clothes. The next day I could be wearing what society perceives as women's clothes. I could decide that I'm shifting and going, and there's fluidity and transformation, and this world wants me to say, this is my gender identity. And the entire movement thus far has only been around people with a stable gender identity that can become a protected class of people for access to institutions. But what about those of us it's in flux? What about those of us who on a given day experience harassment on this gender, on this gender, on this gender? And people don't want that, because what I'm actually saying is I'm complicated. In my world, we accept that people are complicated. In my world, we accept that people are in flux, and that homeostasis is actually comes from a recognition of the infinite variability of the world, not from its being pinned down. And then I think in my world, it's one of profound vulnerability. And I remember that the origin of vulnerability comes from vulna, which means wound, and vulnerability means willingness to be wounded. And what that means for me is, in my world, allyship is not just like, I love you, or you're amazing, or it's fabulous. It's, I'm willing to be wounded alongside you. And that means that we are exposing ourselves to pain and to hurt and to trauma, but we're doing it because we know that's how we heal, is by actually encountering the wound, sitting with the wound, feeling the wound. And in the world we're in, that we're supposed to be in right now, but we're not, because we're transported in this conversation, but they tell us to just do everything we can to ignore the wound, like to pretend it's not there. That's the history of this country. And in our world, and I see in so many trans worlds, we're being insistent to be like, I am hurt and I am traumatized, but I'm working on it, and the way I work on it is through ceremony. And the ceremonies that I require are where people can actually understand me beyond visuality. In my world, we are energetic. Like, I just think about the trauma of the visual, like how so much of anti-trans violence is, you look like, and I'm like, I contain so much more than what I look like. That's always